Top 50 cybersecurity attack types. 1. Phishing. Attacker impersonates a trustworthy entity to deceive victims into revealing sensitive information such as passwords or credit card details. 2. Denial of service, DOS, overwhelms a system or network with excessive traffic or requests, making it unavailable to legitimate users. 3. Distributed denial of service, DDoS, similar to DOS, but the attack is launched from multiple sources simultaneously to amplify the impact. 4. Man in the middle, MIT-M, intercepting and altering communication between two parties without their knowledge, allowing the attacker to eavesdrop or manipulate data. 5. SQL injection, exploiting vulnerabilities in a web application's database layer to execute malicious SQL commands, potentially gaining unauthorized access or manipulating data. 6. Cross-site scripting, XSS, injecting malicious scripts into web pages to execute in victims' browsers, often allowing the attacker to steal sensitive information or control the user's session. 7. Cross-site request forgery, CSRF, forcing victims' browsers to send unauthorized requests to a vulnerable website, potentially leading to actions performed on their behalf without consent. 8. Brute force, repeatedly attempting various combinations of usernames and passwords to gain unauthorized access to a system or account. 9. Social engineering, manipulating human psychology to deceive individuals into divulging sensitive information or performing certain actions. 10. Ransomware, malicious software that encrypts victims' files, demanding a ransom payment in exchange for the decryption key. 11. Malware, general term for malicious software, including viruses, worms, trojans, and spyware, designed to harm or exploit systems or steal information. 12. Zero-day exploit, leveraging a vulnerability in a software or system that the developers are unaware of, giving the attacker an advantage before a patch or fix is available. 13. Buffer overflow, overloading a program's memory buffer to execute arbitrary code, potentially allowing the attacker to gain control over the system. 14. Eavesdropping, intercepting and monitoring network communications to obtain sensitive information. 15. Farming, redirecting victims to fake websites, often through DNS poisoning, to deceive them into entering their credentials or financial information. 16. Clickjacking, tricking users into clicking on hidden or disguised elements on a website, potentially leading to unintended actions or revealing sensitive information. 17. Password cracking, using various techniques to discover or guess passwords, such as brute forcing, dictionary attacks, or rainbow table lookups. 18. Keylogging, recording keystrokes made by a user, often covertly, to capture passwords or other sensitive information. 19. Malvertising, distributing malware through legitimate online advertisements, exploiting vulnerabilities in the ad networks or the user's browsers. 20. DNS spoofing, tampering with DNS responses to redirect users to malicious websites or intercept their communications. 21. Session hijacking, stealing or impersonating a user's session identifier to gain unauthorized access to a web application. 22. Wireless sniffing, capturing and analyzing network traffic over wireless networks to obtain sensitive information, such as passwords or account credentials. 23. Insider threat, exploiting internal access or privileges by an authorized user to compromise systems or steal sensitive data. 24. Watering hole attack, infecting websites frequently visited by a target audience to exploit their devices or gain access to their network. 25. Advanced persistent threat, APT, a prolonged and targeted attack by a skilled adversary, often sponsored by a nation-state, aiming to gain unauthorized access or extract sensitive information. 26. File inclusion exploits, exploiting weaknesses in file inclusion mechanisms to execute arbitrary commands or include malicious files. 27. Click fraud. Generating fraudulent clicks on online advertisements to deceive advertisers or manipulate pay-per-click revenue. 28. DNS tunneling. Bypassing network security measures by encapsulating non-DNS traffic within DNS packets to exfiltrate data or establish unauthorized communication channels. 29. Smishing. Phishing attacks conducted through SMS or text messages, usually tricking recipients into revealing sensitive information or downloading malware. 30. Vishing. Phishing attacks conducted over voice calls, often using social engineering techniques to deceive victims into divulging sensitive information. 31. Cryptojacking. Illegally using victims' computing resources to mine cryptocurrencies without their knowledge or consent. 32. Trojan horse. Malicious software disguised as legitimate software, often tricking users into installing or executing it, allowing the attacker to gain unauthorized access or control. 33. Keystroke injection. Injecting keystrokes into a target system, typically using specialized hardware or malicious firmware, to perform unauthorized actions. 34. Logic bomb. Logic bomb. Malicious code that remains dormant within a system until triggered by specific conditions or events, often causing damage or unauthorized actions. 35. Fileless malware. Malware that operates in memory without leaving traces on the file system, making it difficult to detect and eradicate. 36. DNS amplification. Exploiting misconfigured DNS servers to generate a large volume of traffic to a target's IP address, overwhelming their network resources. 37. Password spraying. Attempting a small number of commonly used passwords against multiple accounts or systems, increasing the chances of successful unauthorized access. 38. Session replay. Recording and replaying a user's interaction with a web application, potentially exposing sensitive information or credentials. 39. USB-based attacks. Exploiting vulnerabilities in USB devices or utilizing social engineering to trick users into executing malicious code from USB drives. 40. Reverse engineering. Analyzing and understanding the inner workings of software or systems to identify vulnerabilities or extract sensitive information. 41. DNS hijacking. Manipulating DNS settings or compromising DNS servers to redirect users to malicious websites or intercept their communications. 42. IoT, Internet of Things, exploitation. Targeting vulnerabilities in Internet-connected devices, such as smart home devices or industrial systems, to gain unauthorized access or disrupt their functionality. 43. Eavesdropping. Intercepting and monitoring communication between wireless devices, such as Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, to obtain sensitive information. 44. Insider data theft. Unauthorized access to and theft of sensitive data by an individual with legitimate access, such as an employee or contractor. 45. Supply chain attacks. Targeting vulnerabilities in the software supply chain to compromise trusted applications or components, allowing for widespread exploitation. 46. DNSSEC attack. Exploiting weaknesses in the DNS security extensions, DNSSEC, protocol to bypass or undermine its security measures. 47. Side channel attacks. Exploiting information leaked through unintended channels, such as power consumption or electromagnetic radiation, to extract sensitive data. 48. Physical attacks. Gaining unauthorized access to systems or data by physically tampering with hardware, stealing devices, or exploiting physical vulnerabilities. 49. Voice assistant exploitation. Exploiting vulnerabilities in voice-controlled assistant devices to gain unauthorized access or extract sensitive information. 50. AI-based attacks. Leveraging artificial intelligence techniques to enhance or automate attacks, such as generating convincing phishing emails or evading detection systems.